made do until someone puts up a challenge. And it is because of this background that I'm putting forward this framework for us to learn how to live with Section 35. I'd like to approach computer evidence in these three baskets. One, is the computer used as a tool, and the real author is a human? First basket. Second basket, to what extent, or rather is the computer producing the evidence, generating the output, with either no input from the human or very little input from human, right? An example of that, of course, would be the IP address logging that was talked about in the ODEX case, where the machine just picks up the IP addresses. Once the software is running, the IP addresses are just picked up, stored, and then eventually reproduced. No human intervention in that kind of situation. The third situation is where the computer system is used primarily as an archival and storage system. And I'll go through each of them in a little bit more detail, throw out some discussion, some points of discussion, and then I'll leave it at that. For the first category, computer use as a tool. I already raised the example, human using typewriter, real evidence, no need Section 35. Human using word processor, we need Section 35, in theory. But with the Zim engineering case, the Benedict Ng and Zim engineering case, I'm putting forward the proposition that the threshold in this kind of situation is so low, you don't need a Section 35 certificate, call the maker, ask him a few choice questions about, you did this on the computer, and printed it, right? And this content is accurate. That could actually be sufficient to cross the threshold in this kind of situation. Similar situation which you will come across very frequently, man holding a digital camera that takes a snapshot, or a man holding a video cam and takes a video footage. In theory, Section 35 needs to be satisfied, but in practice, can we say that this one, for this class of documents, you don't need? Now, I promise to push boundaries, and I'm going to push a boundary now. Excel spreadsheets. We all know that the numbers that we see in the cells are just numbers. Sometimes behind the cell isn't a number, but a formula, right? It could be a summation, it could be a calculation, it could be a percentage calculation. In that kind of situation, do we or do we not need a Section 35 certificate, right? In that kind of situation, how much oral evidence is required to show that the spreadsheet calculation is reliable? I'm not going to give answers, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll move on to the second category, computer generates output. I think that one is this is the easiest category to understand. For example, man holding a video camera, I think you call it maker, that is sufficient. But if it is a CCTV system, a digital CCTV system, I think in that kind of situation, you probably will need a Section 35 certificate, or the threshold to prove admissibility or reliability should be a little bit higher. Now, for this category, I think the case of R.D. Shepherd that we were referring to earlier, you don't need a computer technician or an expert, so long as it is a person familiar with, in charge of the system and familiar with its operation. That person will be good enough to have used the certificate. And moving on to the last category, storage and archival system, that really ties in very nicely with our appeal process category, which is essentially used for imaging documents and storing them for eventual retrieval. So for this category, I'm also asking, do we really need a Section 35 cert all the time, as if we have the procedures in place to ensure that the image was properly captured and it is properly reproduced? My view is we probably will need, because this kind of a system will usually be operated by a company, operated by many different persons. It will have to come in under against the exception. With that, I will just leave it back to the panel for us to chime in about views.